Hey everybody, it's Jane. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock here in Connecticut. If you don't know me, I'm Jane from Chalk Mercantile and Surface Anthology. Happy New Year. We're still in that point where I could say Happy New Year, right? I want to show you guys how to rejuvenate a piece of vintage teak that I found. Before I do that, I want to show you, because I posted some pictures of my English paper piecing and people were asking about it. So here it is real quick. This is English paper piecing. Now I'm a quilter, I'm a sewer, you name it, I love to do it. And it's literally paper, you guys. I use paper. I baste the papers onto, the fabric onto the paper, and then you can't probably even see, but very, very tiny, tiny stitches hold this all together. Good morning, Brenda. Yay! So Brenda, before I do the teak piece, I'm showing people, because I posted and they were asking about it, my English paper piecing. So this is a hexagon. This is another one, beautiful. I'm using all Liberty of London fabrics. This is a star, same thing. This is all paper that's basted, and then you take the smallest tiny stitches that are invisible. Here's another pretty one in blue. It is actual quilting. Actually, Brenda, the quilting is when I put together the top, right? The quilt top, the batting, and the quilt backing. You're quilting it together. This is called hand piecing, and specifically, it's English paper piecing. So it's quilting. But these are the basting stitches, right? See, I have to baste the fabric onto the pieces of paper, and then little teeny tiny stitches hold this all together. And here's a giant hexagon I'm working on. And then my smallest hexagon is this one. And I love it. I love doing it. I love handwork because I could bring it with me anywhere. Let's get it away from all the chemicals I'm going to be using. Sewing's involved. But you know what, Brenda? It's hand sewing, so it's actually easy. You're not dealing with a machine, though I have like 5 machines, Brenda. It's embarrassing. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate it. I love it. I love it. And I love that if you haven't seen Liberty of London, their Channel Lawn fabric, it's exquisite. It's the most beautiful fine cotton in the world. Okay, now on to this piece. Let me see if I could bring my camera out a little bit so you can see. No, I'm as far out as I can get. So what this is it's made in Japan. And I got it, Brenda, at Goodwill, right? Ice bucket, totally mid-century, absolutely. And it's in exquisite shape. This was so beautifully made. And it's teak, and it's made by KMC. I looked it up. It does have the missing, it had brass rings here. So I thought about getting some vintage twine or rope to put in there, because the chances of me finding brass rings are pretty slim. But somebody took those out. So it's got the beautiful lid again, and it's lined all in metal. I love it. I absolutely love it. But here's the unfit. Isn't it gorgeous, Brenda? I love it. I'm not painting it either. My husband's like, are you going to paint that? I said, absolutely not. But here's the side that I haven't started on yet, right? And you see it's kind of marked up. You know, it has these kinds of marks on it. And they're really just through the finish, not through the wood. Here's the side that I rejuvenated. I didn't refinish it at all. But what a difference, right? And this is totally dry. I ran a test. And again, here's the rejuvenated side. It's like going to get a facial, right? And then here's the rejuvenated side, and it's just beautiful. So I'm going to show you how I did this and what product I use. I'm going to work on the lid so that way you guys can actually see. And this I can bring my camera in closer. Now I'm using a particular product that I love, and I made a giant mess this morning. Brenda, you ever forget that something is open and you go to tip it to look at the directions and it all just comes out, right? Well, that happened to me. But I'm using, I got stuff all over. It's called New Life Furniture Mask. This is actually made down in Texas. I believe it's still being made there in San Antonio. This stuff is incredible. I love it. I've used it for a while. You have to shake it, right? It separates just a little bit, but it's really, really nice. And it cleans furniture, it rejuvenates it. It's just beautiful. You can also use it on leather and vinyl, marble, tile, you know, but I use it for wood. So what I'm doing, and you can see, I know, Brenda, such a mess. Look at it. You know, people use this, and that's why I'm so impressed with the shape this is in. But you see all that dirt? That's from, you know, our hands lifting it. I don't know why they didn't use the knob, or if somebody was pushing it around on that side. I could take the knob off if I wasn't doing this live. I would take the knob off and work on these separately, but I'm not going to. So I shook this stuff up, and now what I'm going to do is open it, and it's just this cream. Ugh. Brenda, I was a hairstylist and makeup artist for decades, and I can't stand getting my hands wet in the morning. It's this really weird thing. And when I was at my salon, I would have somebody, you know, and I did a whole luxurious thing, and I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to go to my Zen place. My hands are going to get wet, and that's the way it's going to be. And then once I got them wet and into the day, I was okay, but I don't know what it is. Oh, okay. I asked my husband in the morning if my favorite coffee mug isn't clean. I'm like, can you wash it for me? I can't get my hands wet. Okay, so I'm using, to start with, one of my favorite little Amy Howard natural bristle brush. Though these are running out, she's now making this size, I think, with synthetic bristles. So I'm just dipping it in, and I'm swiping it on. Just like this. And it doesn't really smell bad, but I apply it really liberally, and you'll see why in a minute. And then we have to go all around the edge. Brenda, how are you doing? How is it where you are? We're warm today. All the beautiful snow is gone because we had that horrible rain storm. And Brenda, you know that the Surface Anthology membership, the new workshop is up. All right. So I'm just going around. I'm going to get it on the knob here. And now, what time? I wore my watch. Well, it's 10:13. This has to stay on for 5 minutes. Oh, I should have used the stuff I spilled. But let me show you what you have to do. Oh. I only stick my tongue out because I have to use my fingers. Where did you get this? Oh, I got this ages and ages ago at a shop that is no more. But I'm going to put a link because it's not, I looked on Amazon for it. It's not there, but I did find it. So when I'm done with my live, Brenda, I'm going to put a link. And let me tell you, a little goes a long way. This size, 16 ounce, is going to last you a really long time. All right. I'm cleaning my fingers. No snow, lots of rain. Ugh. What you have to do is massage this in. So it went on at 10:13. And I massage it like this. It says in the directions to apply it with your fingertips. I just don't want to scoop out like tons of this. Like I'm giving it a facial. When I was in cosmetology school, we had to learn about how to give a facial. All right. And then you go around the edge. It's not for me. Let me just tell you. All right. And I'm just kind of massaging it into the wood and into the finish. And I've used this on antiques. I have a lot of antique wood furniture. But you just want to massage that in. And it's not lifting the finish off. I'm not stripping the finish. Are we supposed to make a sign or focus? You got it, Brenda. It's focus on the background, right? It's if you watch it, we're not making a sign. So everybody, I'm talking about Brenda's in my Surface Anthology membership. It's a decorative and painting membership, and every month they get a workshop. And before the workshop drops, right, goes live, it's a pre-recorded workshop because I do multi-lesson workshops, and to do it live would be crazy. But I talk about the focus, and the focus this month was about looking at the color wheel. And though Brenda, if you look at that sign, it's very subtle. I used complementary, for what was it? I talked about it at the beginning of the workshop, but wheels that colors on the color wheel that are almost opposite each other, just to give the background some depth, to play with color. I do a little bit of blending in there because people are asking about blending. So I did that. But my project, because I had to make something with it, I didn't do just a sample board. I made a sign because it was inspired by a sign. And it also has a scalloped edge because I have, and I can't reach them now, but I have these beautiful scalloped borders I bought, Brenda, that I have to use. So anyway, that's what the focus is. You can make a sign, you could do anything you want, but I want to see you guys use that technique. Yeah, the colors were, I had so much fun with the colors in that workshop for sure. Anybody who's watching this and watching the replay, if you're interested in joining the membership, just go to surfaceanthology.com and click on membership. Anyway, look at that. So I've got that really kind of massaged in. 14, 15, 16, so we have one more minute. Hey, Danielle, how is it there? Now my hair is getting in my way. Danielle, I'm making a mess for sure. Will you still have fingerprints? No. Brenda, when I do this on a big piece, I just put on rubber gloves, right? And I just muck it around like this. I don't do it as much as I'm doing right now. But yeah, it's beautiful. Even if you just wipe it on with your fingers or the brush and leave it and then wipe it off, it looks beautiful. It's just gorgeous. All right, I know, making such a mess. I'm going to clean my hands. So I don't know if you had another question. Let's see. Ugh. Danielle, I was talking about how I hate to get my hands wet in the morning. Will you still, right, so you know I'm not going to have fingerprints. Okay, all right. So here we are. It is 5 minutes. What I do, and when you're doing any kind of refinishing, we're using a lot of petroleum-based products, solvent-based products, and we don't really want to, throw those into the wash and try to wash them. So I go to Goodwill, or I save all my old towels and stuff, and I use I love these little small ones like this, or I'll just buy old towels like Goodwill, cotton, because forget anything polyester isn't going to work. And I bring them home and wash them, and then I cut them up, and it works really, really well. Okay, So what I'm going to do is you just have to wipe this off. And this top was really dirty. Look at the dirt coming off. Ooh. So you just wipe it off and keep turning. And again, don't leave the knob on like I did, because it's gonna, you know, kind of, it's easier to do this with the knob off. That's the long and short of it. Shannon, Wendy, good morning. So look at that. And I'll tell you, just by looking at this edge, right? I mean, it makes the wood really gleam, but I might do the edge again, one more application around the edge, just because it was so dirty. But I'm telling you, this stuff is the bomb. And if you go online and look at the reviews, people love it. And one of the ladies on with us right now refinishes, like really refinishes teak and different beautiful woods that they used a lot of in mid-century furniture. And I love when I find a mid-century piece like this, but I am not refinishing it. I am not that brave, and it's a whole thing. So when I find one that's in this kind of shape, this is my go-to product for sure. All right, so let's look at the before and after. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's gorgeous, right? Here is, for those who joined us late, here's the whole ice bucket. The only thing missing are the brass rings, right? But here's the before side, right? You see what's going on there? And then this is the after. And of course, I'm getting more stuff on it. But that's the after. And it's totally dry, right? Really beautiful. So how's that, right? How's that for a quick rejuvenation? When you find these pieces, I saw this at Goodwill for, I think it was like $2.99 or $3.99. And we need an ice bucket. We don't have an ice bucket. And I saw this, and it's lined in aluminum. It's not plastic. I was like a lunatic, and everybody thought I was crazy. I'm like, oh my God, look what I found. And nobody shared my enthusiasm, but I was so excited. Because it's just in flawless shape, except for my missing brass rings. There's no chips or anything like that. It's made very, very well. And again, it's made by KMC, which is a Japanese company. But look at the difference. You could see the two sides. There's the rejuvenated side, and there is the not rejuvenated side. So that's it, you guys. Oh, here we go. Now I got all the, oh, it does help remove dark watermarks. Yes, that's one of the things. Something that I learned about from a antique dealer who worked at, I think it was Christie's or Sotheby's. This was 2 decades ago. He taught me about using wood ash from the fireplace. It has to be 100% natural wood ash. It cannot be those logs that you buy, you know, those fake wood logs that you just throw in with the paper. It has to be real wood ash and mayonnaise to remove water rings. And it has worked for me because it has a very, very little bit of an abrasive in it from the wood ash. And of course, there's all that fat from the mayonnaise, right? and you massage that in. It works really well. It didn't work. Oh, you could try this. Let's see what it says. Oh, I made a mess. If you're joining late, I had the cover off and I tipped it to look at the directions, and it all spilled out and I made a total mess. So let's see what it says about that. It says to apply mask gently with your fingertips, allow to sit 5 minutes, wipe off thoroughly, wipe dry. Now this, if you have really a damaged surface, stubborn dirt or wax buildup, rub with 4/0 steel wool very softly and gently so the finish will not be harmed, and you can repeat if necessary. And it does say to try it on a small area first. Removes watermarks, rings, grime, etc. And it really states do not leave any of this on the wood. So you want to make sure that all of it is removed. White rings it worked for, but not the dark. Yeah. I don't know, Wendy, do you have, if Wendy's probably working now, but do you have a secret formula for removing the black water rings? And I have to tell you, Brenda, I have pieces from the 1700s, and some of them have really stubborn black ones, and it's kind of all is into the patina of the piece. And that's what I say. I'm like, at this point, this is hundreds of years old. It's never coming off. But if it was on something like this, where it's beautiful mid-century and you have a ring, I'd be like, how am I going to get that off? When you have your aunt's huge Danish dining room credenza, and it was never sealed. I think it's all teak. I think we have to pick Wendy's brain about this because she knows about that kind of stuff for sure. That's it, you guys. If you're joining late and you asked about my quilting or my English paper piecing, at the beginning of this, I showed what it is and how, not how I do it, but how it's put together. Yeah, and that's the thing, Brenda. My pieces are cherry. They're just dark wood, so it's not that noticeable. They're really dark. And when it's teak and you've got like a black circle, yeah, it's really noticeable. And the other thing is it veneer or is it solid? Because I imagine that's going to make a difference about how you can treat it. I have to really remove all of this, right? Like if you can, you'd have to sand it down if it was that deep. And if you have something that is veneer, you could totally ruin that. I'm definitely going to do this lid one more time because I'm still getting dirt coming off of it. But I love this stuff. So it's called New Life. I have no affiliation with them. I'm going to find the link, but it's made down in Texas, and I just love it. I've used it for a long time, and I love that when I wipe it, it's just nice and dry. It doesn't have any kind of sticky residue. Yes, watch the replay, Danielle, but I love, it's called English paper piecing. It's all hand pieced. I'm not going to touch it now with my gross fingers, but I base the fabric over the pieces of paper. Those are the big stitches you see. And then it's all put together with little tiny stitches. And I love it. I've done it for years and years and years, along with every other kind of piecing and stuff. They bought it in Denmark. Oh, so this is an heirloom piece, Brenda. I'm your girl. There's Wendy. I'm your girl when it comes to refinishing Danish modern furniture. Wendy, maybe you should have a YouTube channel or do some little educational posts, or maybe you could do it in our membership. I've got a lot of people, if you're not a member of the Surface Anthology membership, a lot of the members are on now. But Wendy, that is something, because even when you're refinishing a piece that has a lot of carving and it's old and patina, I think it's easier than when it's so clean. And the wood is so important, right? The grain of the wood works all together with that design. It's sleek, it's clean, and that to me is intimidating to refinish, you know, and repair, right? I watched a guy repair a Danish, what do they call it? A snowboard or a skateboard teak tray that had damage up on the handles, and he's an accomplished woodworker. And I'm watching this guy carve out sections, match the teak, it was solid teak, and then refinish it. He used Homer, he didn't refinish, he one of the pieces he rejuvenated with Homer Formby, right? That's a line too. And it looked beautiful, but the the skateboard one or the snowboard one was way more work than that. So Wendy, yes, we would love to know about how to get out water rings, you know, white, black, all of that. Like, what do you do? And how do you maintain it? How do you keep it moisturized and looking beautiful, right? So that's it, you guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. For all the members, just remember that the new workshop is up. It is not about making a sign, even though I made a sign. It's about that process of creating that base, because remember, people posted a piece that they loved with all the, you know, the stuff going on in the background, and I needed to make something. I didn't want to just make a test board, so I made a sign. I'll post a picture once I clean up in the membership. I redid my then husband's man cave in all mid-century. Now my great room has it all. We would love to see that. I would love to see it. I'm always looking at real estate. I don't know if you guys ever troll the real estate listings, because in Connecticut we have some beautiful mid-century homes, and they've kept all the design mid-century, all the finishes, and there's something just so beautiful about it. I love it. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely, Danielle. So I just needed, you know, you guys, I could do our workshops on, just do sample boards, right? But I'm like, I don't want to waste this big piece of wood, so I'll make a sign, because there was also stenciling in the picture that was posted, right? There was stenciling, there was metallics, there was a border. I show you how to create an interior border, right? That was all in that piece that was posted. So I studied that piece and said, okay, so how am I going to interpret that in my own piece? And I decided to make a sign because I wanted to do a stencil, and even though that was actually, there was a stencil and a stamp in that, right? Do you think you're going to do it as a sign? Absolutely. And, you know, the most fun part of it, oh, I can't reach it now, was the scalloped border, because I have these moldings that I've had forever, and I don't know where I put them, but I bought them, and they're just scallops. Oh, wait. Here they are. So there are these scallops, and I love scallops, right? And it's what is that? No, it's not. It's plywood. And they're really thin. There's 3. Let me open them up. But I have been looking at these, and I just love scallops. Not the food. I love those too, though. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to now add scallops to my sign. Oh my God. I need scissors. Of course I don't have scissors near me. Let's see if I can get through this with my scraper. But I like wanted to use that. Yeah, but the scallops were easy to make that around the sign. And I do have, because I am not, I'm not a graphic designer. I do have my crazy ways of crafting designs. And, I'll share them with you, which is what I did, right? But here are the scallops. And I don't know what I'm going to use. I had to have them. I'm like, oh my God. I just love these scallops, right? There's just something about them. You could attach these to a shelf. It's wood. I just thought they were super cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. You love food scallops too, right? Oh my God, Danielle, I know. I'm just so glad the holidays are over so I could stop pigging out. I'm like, oh my God. I love delicious food and holiday food because, everybody's dragging out all those family recipes, right? Oh, and my husband, who's thin, he has total self-control, right? Not me. If there is a tray of cookies, they call to me. They call to me, and I have to eat them. And that's why, we had some left, and I'm like, I just brought them to somebody. I say, here, I don't want these. Get them out, because I keep eating them. You're detoxing. Yeah, I'm telling you. I keep thinking, why isn't she using the adornment stamp? I don't use the stamps a lot, Brenda. I don't. I know. And it's like, I guess, when I used the bottom of the immersion blender as the size. The problem with a lot like stamps or inlays or whatever is they're a specific size, right? They're a specific size. So for that sign, maybe I didn't want a tiny one. I didn't want a big one. So when I draft it out the way I did, I can make it any size I want. And that's the reason too. It's like, you can build, and I do this a lot. I build design around the size of a mold or an inlay, or you can draw your own, adornments, right? To fit what your concept, what your design is. That's what I did. Yeah. Brenda, I have got a stack, and I bought all the envelopes, by the way, you guys, if you have a lot of stamps, and they're inexpensive. Those IOD envelopes for the stamps are great because before they were all sticking to each other in this giant, horrible clump, and now I have each one in its own envelope, and it works really, really well. But anyway, yeah, this food scallops, Danielle, I'm dying. Oh, but to create that scalloped edge, I really had fun with it. And then using the metallic watercolor mixed with the DIY paint is beautiful. You can't get it on camera, but when I walk by the sign, it just glints a little, and it's really, really pretty. So I was very happy about that. Right. So Danielle is saying that's so true. We all have the stuff, stamps, but we still figure out other ways of accomplishing what we want without using our stuff. Exactly, right? Exactly. So much of the beautiful iron orchid stuff, it shrinks time, so you're not having to figure out if it's the right size, right? Or if you build your design around the size and shape that they've designed for you. But there's always a way to just draft it out. Yeah, the envelopes are great. I'm telling you, Brenda. Right, Shannon? She's absolutely right. If there's a will, there's a way. And when I was in art school, there was no, except for like templates in the graph, now it's all done on computers. But we had to draw it out. If we're doing a painting, we had to, paint it, right? So it was fabulous. You bought them, Danielle. They're beautiful. I love them. And you don't hear me a lot going nuts over us. But I'm like, oh, these watercolors are so beautiful. I even, and again, I don't have it near me, but I painted some watercolor. Oh my God, look at how dirty my hands are getting. I don't, oh, that's from these. That's from these. This is probably ash because I will bet you these are laser cut, by the way. But I made these little watercolors of ornaments, and I used DIY paint as my watercolor. And then I just tipped in some of the metallics, and they're absolutely beautiful. And the thing about them, because they are just cakes of watercolor, let me get them so everybody can see. And I'll put a link for these also in there, is that they're so opaque. They're not like translucent, like you have, you know, trouble building them up. They're super, super opaque. You saw me when I painted those little eggs in our last workshop. They're amazing. So I was very, very impressed by this company, and it's Calero. They're made in Germany, Brenda. I'll tell you, the Germans make some really, really beautiful, beautiful products. And these last a long time too. I wasn't, like, I've been painting and painting and painting, and it's not, you know, I'm not down to the bottom. So they're worth every single penny. Now, Shannon asked about, this is turning into a membership talk. So everybody's not in a membership. We do like to talk, we like to go all over the place, right? But Shannon asked about the painterly paints, and I am still thinking about whether I'm going to carry them. Maybe I'll be able to talk to another stockist who will sell to you guys, because people love them. The colors for where I live in New England are very, very unusual, right? So I want to make sure I'm able to sell them. And the investment is quite large. It's a pretty big investment. So they're not off the table yet because they're pretty cool. But I'm still like, you know, and this is that time of the year where we all sit and go, okay, what am I going to invest in? What new stuff do I want to bring in? What stuff do I want to discontinue? And I just finished inventory. So that's done. So that's a lot of what I'm doing now. So Shannon, I want you to know that I wasn't ignoring you, for sure. So that's it, you guys. Any questions? Is everybody well? Is everybody healthy? Feeling good? Danielle's detoxing. I got to do it. Danielle, how are you doing it? Like salads, vegetables, and a lot of water, right? Like lemon water. Give your liver a break too, because everybody's also drinking over the holidays. Oh my God. Oh. Yeah. Well, you know, I bet I probably won't get stuck. It would just be a slower sell. Like my number one product that I sell is the DIY paint. And right behind it is all the Iron Orchid. And now that I have a space in Deep River, right, it really sells there too. Yes. See, that's the, yes. So what Danielle is saying, Jane, I saw another stockist who brought the painterly paints in and then split them into 1 ounce samples to sell, right? So I'll be sitting there squeezing out samples. And then I have all the containers because I used to have 2 subscription boxes, right? And I used to dispense all the paint, so I could do that. Oh, you're welcome, Shannon. Hey, Barb, how are you? Good to see you. All right, Danielle's telling us what she's doing for detoxing. You drink broth, tea, and water, and literally no sugary stuff, right? And you're in the toilet a lot, right? But that's good. Yeah. I've been really upping my water. I was going to do a live about this, you guys. My last thing I'll blab about today. But I was in Marshall's, you know, poking around. I was trying to get like art supplies, and they carry that vanilla. Cheryl, if you're watching this in the replay, it's the Macy. She knows the name of it. It's a really, really good vanilla That's super expensive, but you'll see it sometimes at Marshall's. You guys, I saw it finally and I bought all 6. And I gave some as gifts. It's such good vanilla. It's so good. Oh, you feel better already from detoxing. Yay! All right, I'm going to do that. But to make myself drink more water, Danielle, while I was in that aisle, I turned around. And you know how Marshalls and TJ Maxx, they have the glass, you know, everything glass. They have these, I love pink glass. Pink glass little pitcher. Not really a pitcher, but it's the pitcher on the bottom with the glass that goes on top, right? So, and it's usually for nightstands, so nothing goes into the water while you're sleeping. You know, you don't want to just leave a glass of water. That way you pull it off, pour it in, drink it, and put the glass on top. Well, it was all pink pressed glass. It was $9.99. I bought it. But what I do is I fill it up twice a day because it's pretty big. And it makes drinking water special because I'm like, oh, I've got my pink glass. I feel so fancy, right? And it makes me drink water. So I've been doing that because it really, I feel so much better when I'm well hydrated. Barb, okay, Barb, make sure you watch the replay. You're going to be in Indiana in 2 weeks. That is fabulous, Barb. Barb, you can't wait to get all your stuff out and start creating again, right? Yeah, good for you. Danielle, it is really pretty. It looks pretty on my counter because I used to just drink out of my hut. You know, we have the pint glasses, or I like to drink out of crystal wine glasses. But I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. People, you know, I'm either walking around with a Guinness pint glass or this wine glass that's very top heavy when you fill it with water. So this is better. I know. I don't know how smart I was, Shannon. It was the color. Oh my God, I love it. Yep, you feel better. Absolutely. All right, you guys, all you members, go check out the workshop. It is not a sign painting workshop. It's about those techniques that I was inspired by the pieces that you posted in our group, our Facebook group. So I took what I saw and I then borrowed those or took that inspiration and put them into a new project, right? I rethunk that because we talk a lot about being inspired by, are we copying someone? You know, no. It's like, how do you reinterpret those things? So make sure you watch it. There's blending in there. There's drafting in there. There's stenciling in there. And the last thing I want to say about it is these I waxed, I buffed, and they do not move. Because my big concern with using these watercolors on like a permanent piece like that, right? Not on watercolor paper, was that, okay, I'm going to wax and I'm going to buff and they're going to come off. Nope, they are stuck down. So this stuff is the bomb. All right, you guys, so I'll be sure to put in the links. Thanks, you guys, for joining me today. As always, it was a blast. I will also put in the new live furniture mask, right? I'll put a link in for that. And I'll post some pictures of my beautiful Japanese, look at how beautiful that looks now, ice bucket. You know, I'll do that on social. All right, you guys? Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Yeah, Danielle, you could wax some. And you got them, right? They're amazing. To me, this is like an incredible investment. I keep talking about that. That's how you know. When I love something, I just yap about it. And these are absolutely beautiful. They're really, really nice. And even when you, and I know Shannon, you love to use watercolors, even when you flood with them or put not a lot of, you know, pigment or make it thick. I don't know if I'm articulating that well. They still lay down when they dry down this really beautiful metallic. It's just really, really beautiful. So I absolutely adore them. So there you go. You guys have a great day. Have a creative day and happy painting, everybody.